Hello everyone and welcome back. I am Albert and what you see behind me, it's a Range Rover. And I've been wanting to get one of these for a while, and I was afraid that, everybody's talking about them, how bad they are and how unreliable. But there are some people that actually love this car, and they say that the Range Rover is one of the best SUVs ever made. So I'm torn apart between bad and good decisions. So, I did a good decision and got one, and I think this one looks pretty good. I mean, just look at it. It's imposing, it's big, and it's very luxurious. And to be honest with you, I really think that this Range Rover here, especially the Sport model, is a great one. Let's find out together how this car drives, handles, and let's see how the interior was made, because I think it was top quality, and it still is. The new L494 replaced the old L320, and as you can see, this one looks better, and it lost a lot of weight, and also got bigger with 4 inches. And as you can see, it's a lot more beautiful than the old version. Now, I'm not saying that the older version doesn't look good, because it's still looking good even today. But this one is more modern, more elegant. And somehow, the image of Range Rover improved a lot with this one.
If you never drove a Range Rover, forget everything you know about this car, because you might be wrong. First of all, the general looks of the car is brilliant. Second of all, the ride quality has no rival. And third, it makes you feel like royalty. So if you have the proper money to buy this car and afford the maintenance, you won't have any issues with it.
And now, let's talk about the front end of this car. Because as you can see, it looks pretty muscular, pretty evil. And when I say evil, I don't say that evil, but it looks bad, it looks angry. It looks kind of like the Hulk, The older version was like Dr. Banner, and this one, this one is the Hulk. Because just look at it. It has this big front bumper and the grille got more aggressive. This car has LED daylights, which they light up pretty nicely here. And also these fog lights look nice. But the overall look of this car looks really nice, and it looks modern. And actually, as you can see, it's quite beautiful. We have here the headlight washers, we have the parking sensors, and of course my favorite part of all is this badge over here, and it's quite good looking. Another thing that I like about this car are these 2 vents on the hood, which they look amazing. Honestly, this car got so aggressive and so beautiful over the years that it made me fall in love with it. And after you're gonna drive one, I think it's gonna make you fall in love with it also, because they are great cars. And if we don't think about the reliability of them, because a lot of people are complaining about them, but I do think that a lot of people think that a car only needs an MOT, petrol or diesel, and insurance and road tax. So they think that if they're gonna pay these kinds of things, the car will drive for lifetime. That's not gonna happen. You need to do regular maintenance. You have to take the car to service all the time, to do the oil, to do the gearbox service. These cars have timing belt, which needs to be changed every 100,000 miles or every 7 years. If you don't want your engine to fail, you need to do the timing belt. So there are a lot of things that actually can go wrong with this car, but if you take good care of it, this one, especially this one here, is gonna be a loyal companion. Now, let's talk about the engine of this car, because this car has the 3-liter diesel engine, the SDV6, which this one has 309 horsepower, 700 Newton meters, and goes from 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. But also, there are a couple of engines that you can choose from. There's a lazier V6 diesel engine which produces 245 horsepower, but you can also get a V8 diesel, a 4.4. And that's not all. You can get a 5-liter supercharged petrol engine, which, to be honest with you, it's the one I wanted. But you don't need a 5 liters petrol engine in these times. Well, you actually need it, but you don't. You know what I'm saying. This one is reliable, has a very good fuel economy. It does 25 miles per gallon around town and 36 to 37 miles per gallon on a motorway. And these are good numbers considering that this car, well, it's weighing like an elephant. Talking about the rear end of the Range Rover Sport, and as you can see, this one looks good. There's not much to tell about it, but you can actually tell about the LED tail lights, this beautiful roof spoiler which hides the rear wiper, and also has this brake lamp over here which looks nice. Also, we have this Range Rover model badge here, and of course the Land Rover badge, because, well, it's a Land Rover. And also right here we have the Sport badge to make you remember that you drive a sport Range Rover. But you actually don't see this one. Only the people that are behind you can see that you're driving a Sport. But there's not much resemblance between the Sport and the Vogue, so everybody knows you're driving a sport Range Rover. So this car has an electrical boot, which it's quite nice because it's useful when you have a big car like this. You just press your button here, the boot pops up, and you also have a button here which you can press and the boot goes down like this. Looks like witchery, and maybe a witcher or a witch. We're into that. Back here we have this twin exhaust which looks nice, and also the parking sensors right here along the rear bumper. Also, this car has a rear camera. Isn't that great? The screen looks nice, but the camera, it's quite fuzzy and a little bit pixelated. But other than that, everything looks really nice. From this side, the Range Rover Sport looks excellent. I mean, just look how big it is. And of course it looks good because it sits on this 21-inch wheels, and they actually look quite nice with these red brake calipers. But also this car has this side skirt here which looks quite amazing. And also one thing that I do like about this car are these side vents, which actually look pretty amazing. Every chrome element was replaced by this beautiful black trim. And also it's a nice gimmick because this car has a couple of options that are really interesting, and I don't know, they are not surprising because, well, we do live in the era of the technology and at the peak of the technology, let's say like this. But it also has keyless entry, keyless go, start, stop. You have powered folded boot, you have powered electrical folded mirrors, which I know that these are options for the 2000s, but nevertheless, I drove a lot of cars, modern cars, that actually are missing this kind of options. And one thing that I do really miss about this car having, it's the electric stairs, because honestly it's kind of hard to get inside this car because it's big, and you have to do something like this, which isn't bad, but I do really think that those electric side steps would have helped and improved the way you get into your Land Rover Range Rover Sport. Well, inside the Range Rover Sport, it's a beautiful feeling inside this car. Everything is wrapped in leather. The dash looks brilliant. I do like this two-tone leather in this car. It has this grayish leather with this black leather over here. Everything looks beautiful. This two-tone leather gives it a quite exquisite look. Also, you have these individual armrests that a lot of people are complaining about and they hate them, but honestly they look quite nice. Of course, they remind you that a lot of trucks have these and lorries, but this is a big car, and I actually think that this here, it's not quite a good position of driving. I do feel that this armrest here makes the ride more luxurious and actually makes the ride more enjoyable for the driver and of course for the passenger. As you can see, this one is a big improvement over the older model because it actually looks really nice. Everything in this car is better, and well, it should be better because it costs a lot of money. But that's not all. I do like the general aspect of this car, and the interior, it's pretty well built. Every material was very well put together. Everything is quite elegant. Look at this door. Everything is beautiful. It's wrapped in leather and it feels very, very expensive. Now, one thing that I'm not really fond of are these buttons over here, because, well, I do think that they could have been made better. But other than that, well, there's not much to complain. We do have here the window controls, the power folding mirrors, which is quite an interesting thing. To fold these mirrors, you have to press these buttons together and they fold, and after that they go back, which is quite nice. One thing that I don't like about this car is the sound system, because it doesn't have the Meridian sound system. It's just having the standard sound system, and it's not quite that good. As you can see, this one doesn't have the heated steering wheel, which is quite annoying, but I think you can live without it, so there's not much to complain about that. Also, the gauge cluster looks really nice. Of course, it's a screen, and I like the fact that you can actually adjust it a bit. As you can see, when you change the driving mode of this car, you can actually change the cluster also, which is quite nice. There aren't too many things that you can change about it, but these ones are nice gimmicks, and I like this Range Rover here between the gauges. Moving away from the screen, we have the start and stop button here, and of course this car is keyless go. As I mentioned, it has keyless entry and of course keyless go. The infotainment system, it's something that I'm not really fond of, because the screen is good, but it's not as good as I want to. It's not as responsive as the newer models, but well, it's quite nice, let's say like this. You have a lot of features and things to choose from this infotainment system. This car has, as I mentioned, it has a rear view camera, and as you can see, it's not that great, but well, it's there if you need to use it. The infotainment system, it's quite simple and easy to use, quite friendly to use. Moving down here is the climate control, which actually is one of my favorite climate controls in the car industry. It looks really nice. It's so elegant. You can choose to use this dial over here to adjust the temperature, and also when you push it from here, you can adjust the seat. Funny thing though is that this car has heated seats, but it doesn't have cooled seats. But as you can see here, you have a little blue arrow that actually shows you that you could have got cooled seats, but you didn't, which is kind of ironic considering that you pay a lot of money for this car. But nevertheless, after that you press this button and you can actually see that the climate controls are back. I do like this piano black finish over here. It looks really nice. The whole dashboard looks really nice and looks really elegant. The gear shifter, it's something that I do like, especially that they removed the old one, that round knob, which it wasn't my favorite. That was nice on the Jaguar, but on the Range Rover it doesn't look that good, because well, this is a big car and it was funny having that little dial. But as you can see, the gear shifter looks really nice. It's elegant. It's wrapped in leather with this beautiful aluminium trim, and it's
quite easy to use. You press this button over here and you put it in drive or in reverse. And when you put it in reverse, well, look what's happening. The rear view camera pops out and it's telling you that you are in reverse mode. Also, in the gauge cluster, it's showing you what gear you are in. Another funny thing about the gauge cluster is that when you rev this car, I don't know if you can see this, but when you rev it, it's kind of bringing the light into the other numbers, and it's a nice gimmick. I do like this. It's quite funny. This animation looks really good. Moving back into the center console of this car, we have here the driving mode, and here we have the air suspension, which you can lift it or lower it as you want it. So, driving the Range Rover Sport. Putting the ignition on. Oh, this sounds nice. And I'm gonna put my, well, this is a bad thing because I have to put this up, but my safety belt. So, driving the Range Rover Sport. Let's go. Now, I've been driving this car for a while, so I know exactly how it drives. It's very elegant and very comfortable. The ride quality is insane. I mean, these air suspensions are, I think, probably one of the best inventions ever made in car manufacturing, because they are so well designed and so comfortable. And I'm not saying just about the Range Rover air suspension. I'm talking about all of the car industry that have air suspensions. One thing that I do like about this car is the fact that it's quiet inside. This one has double glazed windows and also drives pretty nice. It's very stable and it's quite elegant. It has a very elegant driving position. Now, I've been driving different SUVs, the Cayenne and the X5, and they're all excellent SUVs, but this one is something different. The driving position is like no other car can provide. I cannot explain it to you how you feel in this Range Rover, but it actually feels quite good. The driving position is insane. So it's high, it's honestly, I don't know how to explain it to you. You really need to have to drive a Range Rover to see exactly what I'm talking about. But other than that, this car drives insanely good. It's quiet on the inside. It has a very smooth suspension, and the ride quality is excellent. Not to mention that it goes from 0 to 60 in just 7 seconds, which is massive numbers for this car, considering that it's a heavy car. Other than that, you cannot complain about many things. Fuel consumption is really good. Everything about this car is perfect. There's nothing to complain. There's no squeaks, there's no cheap plastic, and of course there are some things missing on it, but I'm sure that if you're gonna get a full spec version of this car, you won't be missing anything. So this one doesn't have the head-up display or the adaptive cruise control or the heated steering wheel, but it's still a good, comfortable car, and I do enjoy it. So, well, you should try it.
that was my video for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, press a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And in the meantime, well, enjoy everything that you do, enjoy life, and I'll see you soon. Take care, because obviously I'm gonna enjoy this baby. Have a good one.